is my great privilege and honor to introduce a man that, when I say marketing genius, I mean every word of it. It's been a pleasure getting to know him personally. It's a pleasure and an honor doing business with him. He's a mentor to so many, and I've just learned so much. So put all the distractions away and get your ears ready, because he's going to be dropping the knowledge nuggets. Greg Baldwin, take it away, brother.
Thank you so much, Nalani Rude. And you know how I feel about you and our entire global community. I mean, you know, it really is about surrounding yourself with people that make you look better than you really are. And I promise you, if you talk to anyone that's in any kind of leadership position, they can point out people that helps them look better than they really are. So thank you so much for all that you do. And to all of the global community, we want to welcome you to today's Locker Room Talk. And it's going to be a little bit of a different animal today. We've been talking a lot about the how-tos. I know that last week, Mark and CJ and Nicole, they knocked it out of the park in terms of how to use Facebook and how to pique interest effectively. And I know that people got some good nuggets out of that. But today is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be a legitimate locker room talk. And I'm going to be talking to you guys from my head and heart to your head and heart about the why-tos. Because I think it's so critically important to go over those kinds of things. And so charge anything that I'm going to say today to my head and not my heart, because I'm not here to offend anyone. We're going to be talking about some things that may be on the edge here. We're not going to get political or anything like that, but it's so important that as a global community, we begin to understand what we have our hands on. Part of my role with Coop Life on the corporate side of everything is marketing. But also, I think it's a priority for me to also establish culture because I have a belief in knowing that once you have the right culture in place, everything else is just a byproduct of that. And so it's not just about collecting a whole bunch of talent, even though we have tremendous talent from around the world, people that have tremendous network marketing backgrounds, online, high ticket, Thomas Dubois, Nicole Jackson, Alani Root, and many of you out there. But it's also about attracting people that share our values. And that's what's so doggone important, because when I've been building business over the years, I've had, you know, when the going gets tough, when you're building a business, if you have just a group of talented people, guess what happens? They splinter and they go to the next shiny object. But when the going gets tough and you have people that's collected together and have a shared value system, they band together even stronger in order to take something that is real to a whole nother level. And so that's what I'm going to be talking to you guys about this morning on today's Locker Room Talk. So I want to really encourage each and every one of you to really pull in, because this is going to be a personal conversation here. And you guys are going to hear from Thomas Dubois as well at some moment in time. But at Coop Life, what we're really about, you guys, it's not just about information. We're about transformation. It's not about just content and the how-tos. It's about the why-tos. And that's so important. And when I say that, it's about contextualizing everything that's happening. And the reason why I'm so sold out on Coop Life, it's not just because there's a great deal of money on the table, even though it is. It's a whole lot of money on the table. But it's because there's something bigger than each and every one of us on this line that we have to accomplish, because I believe that Coop Life is hope for a hurting world. We have global leaders and community leaders all across the world that's experiencing, you know, a lot of trials and tribulations, whether you're in Haiti, whether you're in South Africa, whether you're in places in Europe, all over the world. There's something that is being ushered in that I believe that Coop Life is the Noah's Ark. There's a financial tsunami that's getting ready to hit this planet. And I think you guys can understand and smell something's cooking. And like I said, I'm not trying to get political here. I don't care what side of the line you're on, whether to vaccinate, not vaccinate, you know, mandates and all that kind of stuff. That's political. I'm talking about principle here. I'm talking about personal sovereignty and freedom. And Coop Life is that Noah's Ark. It is that platform that we're able to come together collectively, collaborate, to cooperate in order to have this, to help people who are hurting out here financially. So what is Coop Life all about? It's about each and every person in here having their full measure of happiness. It's about increasing everyone's purchasing power, if you will. Okay, that's what we're about. We're about eradicating poverty all around the world. And the reason why I'm going to talk to you guys about what I'm going to talk to you guys about tonight is because I have three beautiful daughters. Many of you have children out here. You have grandkids, and they're getting ready to be ushered into a world that, quite frankly, I'm not too happy with. All right. There's something happening where all the power and control monetarily is being directed to just a select few companies around the world. And many of you are hearing this, and you may not really understand it. My goal today is to help just tweak your perception just a little bit so that you can be bold about Co-op Life, so that your belief level about Co-op Life goes to a whole nother level. Because like I said, there's a lot of opportunities out there where you can make money, but there's very few that has the opportunity to effectuate the kind of change that is so necessary around the planet. And that's what Co-op Life is really all about. And so I'm going to be talking to you guys about something. And so one of the things I want you guys to look at as I go over some of my notes, I don't forget, is that creating freedom is about disconnecting your income from your time. And what do I mean by that is this, that if you don't sell your time and your labor, but sell your knowledge and your skills. And if you're able to do that, you'll never have to work for money again. And we're moving into an area whereby you're going to have to increase your knowledge base about what's going on around the world globally. Because here's the thing that I want you guys to understand. When you look at the most successful, powerful companies on this planet, since the pandemic, the top percentage, the top billionaires, their net worth has increased by close to $2 trillion during the pandemic. We're being ushered into a have and a have-nots. And that's why it's so important that we come together collectively and work collaboratively in order to effectuate the kind of change. So technology and automation. What's happening now because of technology and automation is displacing a lot of people from their jobs. Okay, we all have been experiencing that. And other times in history, whenever there's been new innovation and there's been new technology that may have displaced people from their current occupation or jobs, there's always been other industries that have evolved as a consequence so that it kept the economy going. But what I'm suggesting to each and every one of you right now, that technology has advanced to a place whereby people are being displaced and there's nowhere else to go, because a lot of countries around the world were built on making things, manufacturing, mundane things, and automation and technology is now removing that. So what's happening is that we're being ushered into a place whereby, for most of you, you may not even understand this, but Wells Fargo, for instance, okay, they took away personal and commercial lending. Now, these are banks. And I want you guys to understand that it's because we're moving away from currency that is plastic or cash to a cashless society. Not only is currency being changed, but the on-ramp and off-ramp, the transaction of currency is also getting a facelift as well. And if you're not prepared for that, you're going to get ran over financially. And that's where Co-op Life comes into the fold here, that we have a decentralized ecosystem here. We own the payment system. We own the invoices, okay? We have scale here. We're creating a bubble that's going to insulate anyone around the world that sees what's getting ready to happen, because this financial bubble is going to burst. And many of you are going to lose your savings. You're going to lose your mutual funds, things of that nature, if you're not prepared. And so I'm talking to you guys from my head and heart to yours, because you guys need to understand that this is not a game here with Co-op Life. We set up things throughout the week, and we have leaders on here that we're pouring our whole heart into everything that we're doing, because we want you guys to get it. We want you to rest your head here in Co-op Life and not look at any other shining objects. This is the real deal. So here's what I want to talk to you guys about. I want to talk about some of the buzzwords that you guys have been hearing out there. The Great Reset, Build Back Better, the new normal, things of that nature. People, if you think that this is just about a pandemic, and I'm not negating that people are getting sick, I'm not going there. It's not about politics, but I do want you to understand that that's a distraction factor, but you're getting ready to get a right hook to your chin with something else that's coming, and it's financial, people. And so we're talking about the fact that you're going to own nothing and be happy. That's what they're trying to usher in to each and every one of us on this line right now. And this is not about conspiracy theory. This is about conspiracy analysts. And I want each and every one of you to start observing what's going on around you. Don't you smell something is cooking? And Co-op Life is going to be the answer to that. So I want to share something with you guys here real quickly. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as we dive into this. Hold on real quickly. Let me see what my mouse is. And we're going to go right into it. Okay. Now I want you guys to see this real quick. And once again, this has nothing to do with it being political. I mean, all the leaders on this line, we love each and every one of you. I mean, our heart goes out to anyone that's experiencing any turmoil in other parts of the country or the planet. But this is what you need to understand. The wealth of U.S. billionaires has grown $1.76 trillion in the last 16 months during a pandemic. All right. And when you look at the sources and you look at the kind of companies that are experiencing this kind of wealth jump, okay, they're technology companies. All right. There's surveillance capitalism. There's technology. We're moving into a technocracy, if you will. And so what's going to happen is this. There's going to be an ushering in of a digital dollar or digital currency. And we already do trainings about fiat currency and all that kind of stuff there. And what cryptocurrency is going to do for each and every one of us, it's going to give us the freedom that we're all looking for to transact globally. Cryptocurrency allows us to transcend borders and international trade agreements and things of that nature. And we have that within the Co-op Life. There's an adoption that we have to help people go through from the fiat currency side of everything into the cryptocurrency side of everything that we have within the Co-op Life opportunity. I want you guys to look at this screen here so that you guys can see what's actually happening here. And that 1/3 of these billionaires' wealth has happened during the pandemic. So something is happening that most people aren't even aware of. And it's all about building back better. So there's going to be a haves and a have-nots. Technology is moving rapidly. We're talking about space travel. Can you imagine when we were younger? We never even thought about there would be a day and time we're going to be able to travel into space. And yet we've seen 2 billionaires go into space. So we're talking about technology and automation advancing at rapid speed at this moment in time. Here's what I want you guys to understand about our cooperative business model and how it solves 3 problems, okay? Money freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. Now, when it comes to money freedom, I want you guys to understand what we have here with the 3x10 co-op crowd. We have residual passive income. People, that is the name of the game. We're not taught about money in our schools and institutions. And I'm going to talk about the cash flow quadrant here momentarily for those of you that never see me do that part of the training. And for those of you that have, it's always good to repeat things over and over again until you guys get it. Because when it comes to creating wealth, it's a very boring, mundane process. A lot of people want a whole lot of sizzle. They want entertainment. We're about steak here. We're about healthy food that sticks to your ribs. And so residual income is the name of the game. It's about getting your residual income greater than your monthly residual responsibilities. Okay. And that's what we're going to show you how to do. So our cooperative business model solves that problem. We give you money freedom, time freedom. Okay. Because of automation and delegation. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Automation. Think about this for a moment. We have voice activation. You have things that you can do by moving your eyes. You have self-driving cars. You have all of these things that's happening on autopilot, but yet most of us have not been able to find a way to automate the income generation. We've been able to do that with Co-op Life because of our private, decentralized digital wallet that we own. I want you guys to think about how powerful that is. And so 90% of what we do is automated, and what you cannot automate, you delegate. And that's where we're showing people how to take earned income and delegate it into an automated system that's going to allow them to have money freedom or residual income. I want you guys to understand how powerful that really, really is. This business is like paint by numbers simple, or draw by number simple. I think you guys remember how you take number 1 to number 2 to number 3, and at the end there's a picture. Well, our business is really just that simple. Register and become an active donor. Identify 3 people to register and become an active donor, and teach duplication in a paint by numbers scenario. In your life, the lifestyle of your dreams will be presented right before your eyes, because you'll have the money freedom, the time freedom, and also the location freedom. Why? Because of the internet. Also, because of cryptocurrency, which I just alluded to, cryptocurrency, it transcends borders in terms of transaction. You don't have to worry about conversions or anything like that. That's why this is so powerful. But I do want you guys to understand this, is that many of you think that the onboarding process is challenging. In other words, getting people's digital wallets funded through cryptocurrency. I want you to understand that that's not a reflection on the opportunity or Co-op Life. That's not a reflection on that. It's a reflection on the fact that you have established incumbent monetary power brokers that don't want to see people transitioning from fiat currency into the cryptocurrency space. So you're going to start seeing things, more obstacles in the way in terms or challenges for people transitioning from fiat currency into the cryptocurrency space. And I want you guys to understand why we have to make sure that no matter how challenging it is that we got to do it is this. Because I had an experience some time ago in another business, and it was completely above board, but they couldn't quantify why so much money was moving. And they held my money. It was in PayPal. They held my money for 6 months. It was, tens of thousands of dollars. Thank God I wasn't living off of that. Can you imagine what my life would have been like? And I'm going to share with you that point here momentarily. But they held my money for 6 months and didn't give me a reason why, and they didn't have to. I want you to understand this. I want you guys to imagine a society around the world where there is no cash. There is no plastic to fall back onto. And all that you have is a fiat digital programmable currency that if they don't like what you do, they press the button and turn off your ability to live, to buy groceries, all right, to pay your rent, to do those things. And when you don't have cash to fall back on, guess what happens? You're a slave to a system. And so cryptocurrency is the people's money. And what David Rosen has put in place is an ecosystem that we have to have mass adoption around the world. We have to get people to get away from fiat currency and exchange it with Ethereum or whatever the case may be to get into this particular ecosystem here. And so for those of you that find that to be a challenge, let me give you a little bit of a perspective here, because wealth is created in the adoption phase. So I gave a scenario some time ago in the training that I talked about where there was this guy that worked for a shoe company, and he was sent over to a remote village to sell shoes. And after a couple of weeks, because of the onboarding, he called back and said, hey, fly me back. We're not going to do anything here. We're not going to make any money because guess what? No one over here wears shoes. So fly me back. He sent another salesperson over to that remote village. And after a week, he called back and says, guess what? We're going to be flat out rich because nobody over here wears shoes. It's the same thing when it comes to cryptocurrency. There's so many people who are not involved in the cryptocurrency space because they don't understand the ramifications of it. They don't understand the importance of having the people's money, because in cryptocurrency, it removes the middle people that creates the log jam. It's peer-to-peer, if you will. And that's so very, very important in today's economy. And so I'm sharing this with you guys because I want you guys to get beyond just about making a lot of money. I want you guys to understand that we're a hope for a hurting world, and we have to educate people why the co-op life and the cooperative business model is so vitally important as we're being ushered into a brand new economy where our liberties and our freedom of choices are starting to become restricted. And I think you guys can all relate to what it is that I'm saying here. Okay, so let me go ahead and move on here real quickly, and I'm going to talk about this. And one of the things I want to encourage you guys to also do is turn off the television as I really break this down. Get your head out of these rectangular boxes, all right? The television is called television for a reason, because they're narrating a vision that's going to basically, you're going to navigate your life based on that television that they're sharing with you. The fear mongering, the divide and conquer tactics and things of that nature, because they want you distracted while they're ushering in something that's going to enclose and take away your liberties. And I want to prove something to you when it comes to money, and why this happens is because most people, they don't have a financial education. And many of you that have been with me over the years, you've seen me do this training before, but I want to do it again. I want to encourage you guys to get the cash flow quadrant. Many of you have already done it. But I want you guys to read it until it's in your cells and your understanding, because this book is one of the few books that changed my life many, many years ago. And that's why I'm gainfully unemployed, because of this book here, because it ushered in a new way of thinking for me. And that's what it's going to do for you as well. So this is not just about piquing someone's interest about doing another business deal. This is about educating, making the world become aware of what is happening around the world and why Co-op Life makes more sense than anything else out there on the face of the planet. All right. So when you look at there's 4 ways to produce income, one of the things I want you guys to understand is that it's been done by design, while a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck and they fail miserably financially because it's by design. Our educational system, for the most part, is antiquated, and it's been used as a weapon of mass instruction. And it kind of goes like this in terms of us. They grab us all up at 5 years old, right? They tell us when to come in, when to be hungry, okay, and when you can go home. You do that through middle school, high school, you go off to college, right? The bottom line is this: you got to get out here in this world and earn your keep. But you don't understand that during this whole antiquated assembly line approach, that downloading misinformation to people, all we've done is trade in our teachers for bosses and our report cards for paychecks, but we still have to answer a bell. And we learn nothing about money. So when you look at this quadrant here, the left-hand side of the quadrant is where 95% of the population resides. Their whole thought process comes from the left-hand side of the quadrant, where you have a job, which stands for just over broke, where you exchange time for money. You're dependent on a just over broke job, okay? And so what ends up happening is that some people end up waking up a little bit and they say, I'm sick of the job, I'm gonna start my own deal, and then they become self-employed. I've shared this story. I got a friend of mine here in the Ohio area that has some great Mediterranean food, the best restaurant as far as I'm concerned in this city, but he's self-employed. He owns a job. He can't go on vacation because he's afraid people will rob from him. The people don't cook the food as well as he does. He just had surgery a couple years ago, is on pain medication. I mean, he's a decent friend of mine, but he's getting broken down because being self-employed is like owning a job. It's worse than having a job. And so you're independent, but it's worse than having a job, and you're still trading time for money. And when you look at the left-hand side of the quadrant, 95% of the population, this is how they view life. This is how they look at money. So when they look at anything that's different from the way in which they've been programmed to earn money, they're skeptical. You and I have to overcome that by making them aware of a different way of looking at money. That's why I'm sharing this with each and every one of you. That's why you have to read the books, not so that you can articulate and pontificate, because it's not about how many books you get through, but it's how many books get through to you. And this is all about leadership. So what ends up happening, what we want to do with Co-op Life, this is our main goal, is we understand that most people on the left-hand side of the quadrant, they're trading time for money. We want to help people get on the right-hand side of the quadrant. This is where those billionaires operate, the ones that's making all the money. This is their line of thinking. I'm giving you guys the answers to the test, just like Robert T. Kiyosaki is giving me the answers to the test. They're business owners. They own a system. They leverage people. They leverage automation, all right? They leverage technology. They leverage money. So they're not at work. They have all these things that they've leveraged at work that makes them money. It's all about saving yourself time, energy, and money. And then once you're able to do that, that's what we have, the Co-op Life systems. We have the VBR systems. We have the presentation system. We have the locker room. We have a system in place by design that we're standardizing so that everyone can have the exact same opportunity to flourish and be successful. So once you're able to make the money from the business, then you can become an investor, and that's where your money makes you money. But it's all about turning earned income into passive residual income as quickly as humanly possible. People, that's the game. I don't care where you're calling in from around the world. Our stories may be different, but our pain is still the same. We all want a better quality of life, and that's what Co-op Life is going to provide each and every one of you if you allow it to. So I'm sharing this with you guys because I want you guys to understand this, is that there's going to be an economic crash of epic proportion, okay? There's going to be huge discounted assets. There are. When this happens, you want to use Co-op Life as a way to build up your cash reserves for these discounted assets that's coming. They're pumping in money with inflation. They're increasing taxes. It's going to bust and burst. And for those of you that are taking what I'm saying and heeding what I'm saying, and you take this opportunity seriously, and you educate your family, your friends, and things of that nature, you're going to have the cash reserves to pick up these discounted assets so that you're not one of the have-nots, but you're one of the haves. So I'm speaking to you guys from what I know, not just what I've heard. So when you look at these quadrants here, I got a couple questions for you. Which quadrant represents you? I want you to think about that. Are you on the left-hand side of the quadrant? Are you an E? Are you a self-employed? Okay. The other question is, where do you earn most of your income? Are you earning most of your income on the left-hand side or the right-hand side? The goal is to earn most of your income on the right-hand side and to basically move to the right-hand side of the quadrant. Now, that same question has to be posed to your family members and friends. Where do they get most of their income from? And we have to let them know that if they're getting most of their income on the left-hand side of the quadrant, that they need to get re-educated about how to really move to the right-hand side of the quadrant, and that you have an opportunity. You have a global community that's going to educate, inspire, and help them to achieve the lifestyle of their dreams here. And that's the name of the game here for me. So it's not about the how-tos. You guys are getting that. You got to know the why-to, because the people that know how, they work for the people that know why. And so you want to be the person that knows why you're doing what it is that you're doing. Leverage that expertise and knowledge and skill set so that you never have to work for money again. And you don't have to in this ecosystem that we provided for each and every one of you. So I wanted to share a little bit of that with you guys, because I think it's so important that you guys understand that this is much bigger than any one of us as individuals, that we're looking to assimilate the best of the best, to have a shared value system, that we want to eradicate poverty. We want to increase everyone's purchasing power in a world that is rapidly changing. And we want to help each and every one of you get your full measure of happiness. Take Co-op Life seriously. All right. So let me go ahead and stop my screen share. I'll have more that I want to share, but I also want to give some other people opportunity to have some input on what it is that we're doing. And there's so much more that I want to really, share with you guys because I'm emotional about this, because like I said, I have kids. And I have unborn grandkids, and many of you do too. And I don't like the direction in which this world is going. And I believe that Co-op Life is the answer, or one of a few answers for the world. And so that's why I'm so passionate about this. And so what I want to do at this moment in time, I'm not sure if he has anything that he may want to add to it, but I want you guys to hear from a brother from another mother as well. His name is Thomas Dubois. I met him through this particular project here. He has the same shared value system that I have. And this gentleman, he's he's a millionaire. He has multiple businesses. He's not necessarily doing this because he has to. He's doing it because we have a shared value system, and he wants to have impact on the world as well. And so I want you guys to hear from Thomas Dubois. Hey, brother, take it away.
Greg, that was amazing. Your distinctness of how you share, I aspire to be like. I'll go all over the board, so I'm going to try not to do that with you real quick here. But I do have, I'm very passionate about this subject. So I wrote a few things down as you were speaking, and then it just so happened to be that this morning's reading was perfect for this. I am reading a Chris Widener book right now, and it says the responsibility for your life and what you accomplish is found in one person, you. You will accomplish what you choose to accomplish. You will make and save as much money as you choose to. You will write in as many books as you choose to. You will take as many vacations as you choose to. You will have a kind of relationship you choose to. What you accomplish is up to you. Take that seriously. I just want to add to the flavor, because there's nothing to add to what you've shared, but I want to add to the flavor of it and put a little gravy on there. And because, I obviously like that gravy, but we got to have some fun in life. But it is about the freedoms, as you spoke about. I've been on this journey for 7 years, trying to create ecosystem, trying to create self-attainment, trying to create a way that me and my wife and my grandbabies can live the lifestyle that we choose to, hopefully, even if everything around us has a problem. So that the taking control at the same time is giving us the full freedom. And that's what decentralizing does. That's what I wrote decentralizing life, control our own security, our freedoms, having the full value of choice. See, the biggest gift that God gave us is choice, but they're trying to take many entities out there. Okay, easy for me to get political, but I'm not gonna. But many entities out there trying to steal our choice. And I'm not willing to do that. And as we fight for this, people do need to see that picture painted that David Rosen has a bigger value here than even I might recognize. I know all of our hearts are in the right place, but I believe the value system of decentralizing a secured system that creates financial freedoms of choice, whether it be charity or non-charity, it's choice, it's freedoms. Get your security decentralized and control yours and fight for it. Well, we're fighting for it. This is a fight for my wife's future. This is a fight for my grandbaby's future. And if I am financially unstable, my fight is diminished to very little but my voice. If I have financial securities and decentralized securities where somebody can't dip in when necessary to add to that fight, it's got to happen. And that goes into the quadrants that you spoke so well of, and I don't want to go there. But the systems right now, they're trying to catch up to what I've been trying to accomplish for 7 years here in the United States. And I hope that they catch up. See, a lot of people are thinking that, another cryptocurrency coin from the feds or whatever is going to hurt. Not necessarily. It's going to give added value to the competition of that I control my own finances and that I control my own system and ecosystem. And so that is what we're putting together here with Co-op Life, is a full-fledged ecosystem. We have to have some patience for that to happen. I watched the passion. I got blessed with watching the passion of all of the leadership, or many of the leadership in this company over this last week. For one, fulfilling the schedule of the blitz we're putting on. For two, fulfilling the passion to voice their own opinions and to show their own passions for what they're trying to accomplish for their families' futures. And in that being said, understanding that we all, even as leaders, need to understand what Greg shared with us today, is that we have an opportunity to participate in the greatest transference of wealth that life has ever had. But if we don't understand that transference of wealth, if we don't start to get educated a little bit, I might be wrongfully educated, but I'm getting educated. So I'll be willing to make some of those mistakes along the way that I've made in the last 7 years, to have the education to further give somebody some knowledge to not make the mistakes that I've made. And hopefully that's my grandchildren. And hopefully I leave a legacy for my grandchildren. And hopefully it's a lot of Bitcoin. And a lot, because there's multiple ways there. But we're talking about creating the decentralized, freedom-based, choice-based living that you're all dreaming of. And Greg, I just want to thank you for letting me share, because like you said, there's so much more that I'd love to share. And I believe, there's people on here, Greg, would you not agree with me? There's people on here that are scared to transfer a little bit of coin, that still can't see that you can liquefy your cryptocurrency in literally minutes sometimes, or within a day for sure. Okay. And almost no matter what it is. And we want to continue to help you guys to understand that that's not the case, and give you that, because I remember transferring my first. Big boy was so scared. I mean, big boy was so scared, and and back then I didn't have the money that I have today. So transferring $100. Boy, I sent $1 first or something. I don't remember what it was. But what I'm going to do Wednesday, I'm going to move. I'm going to do the main training for the new person. But Wednesday on everything crypto, I'm going to just move some of my crypto around for you. I'm going to show you, copy and paste. I'm going to show you the things that I'm going to show you the things that I do to secure, to make sure that it's a safe move. I copy the first two. I write a few things down to get myself secure, to get myself feeling that this is a good transaction. But also in that process, show the beauty of it is safer, it is faster, it does give you freedoms that other things don't. And this is I digressed into that on Wednesday because I think people, I'm going to liquefy for you. I'm going to liquefy some coin for you right in front of your eyes. Awesome. So I'm going to turn it into fiat cash and use it at JCPenney's. But the beautiful thing is I won't have to turn it into fiat cash in the future because I'll spend it on the things that I need, because we're creating that ecosystem that Greg just so spoke about, so that we're in control of our own finances, not the same people that's always been in control of our finances. That's all I got. Awesome. Thank you.
Hey, awesome. So much. I mean, there's so much nuggets there, and appreciate you, Tommy, for sharing that. And I know he has so much more, just like there's other leaders on here, has so much more that we want to share with you, but we're going to give it to you in bite-sized pieces. But I will leave you with this so that you understand this. I'll let you go too as well, Nicole. What I do want to share with you is this, is that when it comes to money, it's just a belief system. The law of life is the law of belief. Because the cash that you believe in right now, it's not backed by anything of real value except your belief in it. So if you hear anything about cryptocurrency is not backed by anything, it's not real money, that's tomfoolery. I mean, it's about belief. But what we have to understand is that we rather have money that we, the people, control, that's an open ledger, that can't be manipulated or rigged to create booms and busts. That is what we want. We want sovereignty. So we're not turning this into a political training. This is about principle. There's just some things that's just not on the table. And that is what we decide to do with our minds, our bodies, and our hearts. That's principle, and everyone deserves that. So thank you so much for that, Tommy. And I believe that Ms. Jackson has something that she wanted to add to that, and then we'll get ready to wrap this thing up. So go ahead and take it away here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Thomas. You just put seasoning right on that meal. That was awesome. I mean, it was like, I love this. I just wanted to, Greg, look at what it is that we have in our midst. We have this. I just wanted to share a couple of things. One is that we got to begin with the end in mind. You always say that. Begin with the end in mind. Do everything that you do with the end in mind. And I just want to speak to the person on the call who may not really understand everything that they're hearing. You may not understand when we're talking about cryptocurrency, we're talking about financial movements and cashless societies and all of this, and it might go over your head, and that's okay, because a lot of it still goes over my head. It really does. But I'm so thankful that I have a community. That's what this beauty of this cooperative is. And when we think about we're in the cooperative age, we really are, but we don't even feel it yet. Like we will, like it's coming. It's coming. The shift is happening. We don't even feel it yet, but thank God we have this community. So I just say, begin with the end in mind. It might not make sense to you right now. Stay on these calls. Come to these Saturday locker rooms. And I encourage you, like what I wish, bring your kids to sit in these calls and listen. They don't understand what they're hearing, and that's okay. But it will soak in. It will get in. This is what they need to hear. They might not like it. They might fuss. These kids are something else nowadays. They want to do what they want to do. But let them listen. Let them listen, because we are doing them a disservice by doing everything for them where they won't have a real strong understanding of what's happening. So bring them, but also just stay the course. Be thankful that you understand what the value of having this cooperative is. And literally, we are all we have, and just understand that we're going to be, I don't even want to say like taken care of. We have of people who get it, and who can walk us through this thing, so it might not make all the sense in the world, but stay the course. The value of the cooperative is immense. So act like your life depends on it, because guess what? It absolutely does. We're only going to be strong together. It absolutely does. Stay the course, whatever it takes. Okay, so that's all I have to say. But I am so incredibly grateful. Like when I look on this screen and I see Nalani, a real true sister, I'm so glad to have a smart one like her as my sister now. You know what I mean? I'm so glad. When I look at Thomas Dubois, I mean, larger than life, has no fear, absolutely going to get it done. I will stand behind him any day because I know he's going to take care of me. And I look at Greg Baldwin with just, leadership incomparable, understands, reads everything, listens, interprets, understand. I trust him with everything. And this is our family. This is our family. So I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful. And I'm so thankful when I scroll down the list, 365 people on the call. We're all a family. So I'm so thankful for each and every one of you on the call. And I'm thankful for this panel. And Greg, I can't tell you just how much I appreciate what it is you do. And I'm confident going into this new age to have you as a leader.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for those words. And to all the global community leaders, I really hope that you guys got something out of today's locker room training. No, it wasn't about how-tos. We just want to have a real conversation with you because the world needs co-op life. We are the ark for the impending flood that is coming. And so we got to get on the horns, get people on the 2:00 p.m. overview calls, get them on the weekly calls as well. It's time to take it to the next level, you guys, because the world so desperately needs it. So as we end every call, we're not just going to see each and every one of you at the top. We're going to see each and every one of you over the top. Take care, everybody. God bless. Talk to you guys real soon. Thank you, panelists. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Awesome job, everybody.
You got it, brother.